Very sorry for your
Very
loss.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Her arrangements are Friday.
Very good. Good evening, everybody. We are here. This is the Coffee County Opioid Abatement and Fund Disbursement Committee. Today is January the 22nd. We have reassembled after our initial meeting, which was on December the 18th of 2024. The members, most of the members, we have a quorum here today. I'm Judge Robert Carter. I'm the committee chair, and I'm going to ask some members to identify themselves.
Lee Nettles.
Very good.
Rose Ann Smith, I'm County Commissioner. Leslie Brassfield.
Very good.
Dennis Hunt, Coffee County Mayor.
All right. Like I said, we have a quorum here today. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss and to move forward with the proper administration and disbursement of opioid money that's been granted to us through various mechanisms through Tennessee state government and through the opioid lawsuit settlement. One of the first things that we need to do, I think, is to adopt a procedure as to how we're going to conduct these meetings. The first thing is, obviously, we'll open the meeting, we'll have the members present identify themselves, and then I'll declare a quorum. And then what we'll do is we'll announce what we have on board for the agenda, and then we'll commence the meeting. Anybody have any suggestions as to adding on to that? That should satisfy our due process.
Procedure, just follow Robert's rules for small committees.
Robert's rules are engaged, yes.
Would be my suggestion. I mean, that,
Well, we
that
employed
works.
those last meeting, so,
yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
very well. So what we have before us are ground rules for the administration of the opioid money. And one of the things that we need to do here today is we need to adopt a solicitation procedure for the money, because we have deadlines that are coming up, and we actually have one deadline that's passed, although we have been advised by higher authority that the deadline is not significant as long as we have pretty good justification as to why we're taking our time in doing this, which we obviously do. So does anybody have any, there was some discussion prior to the opening of the meeting about what kind of solicitation procedure we should employ for the grants or for the recipients of the grants. And I would like to open the floor to discussion as to the solicitation procedure.
I believe what we had spoke about earlier was there's going to be an application process.
Right.
We had spoke about possibly getting the ability to add a icon to the Coffee County website to where people of the community could click on it, print out this application process to be able to fill it out. And then it would also have a list of our next meeting dates where they could show up
Right.
with their application, with their presentation, and be able to present it to us. I think all the other, we had a email come in that had some paperwork that was sent to us for us to be able to evaluate
Right.
these presentations, but I believe that would be between us. And also, Ms. Brassfield also mentioned listing these things. We could also use the newspaper and local radio even to get the information out where people would know where to go look and pull these application process.
I think that's a logical sequence in how to do that. Get the word out through the print and through the newspaper, and then direct them to the site, the Coffee County government site. We'll have the form set up for the site, and then proceed from there. Does anybody have any suggestions on any further modification to that procedure?
I would suggest that you adopt the county's website as the single point of contact for
Yeah.
application, and that the Coffee County's official calendar will list the meeting dates, because that's what everybody looks for, our meetings, is
Very
the
good.
official Coffee County government calendar, which is on the website.
Very good. Do I have a motion to adopt that as procedure?
I'll make that motion.
Very good.
I'll second.
Very good. Mayor Hunt, who do we talk to as far as setting this up through county government?
I can take care of it.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, we have an IT person that populates all the dates and documents and all that anyway, so it'll be handled through the mayor's office.
Okay, so we can set up, we can set up the procedure for the bid submission, proposal submission. As far as getting the word out initially, mechanically, how would you do that?
I would say, the first time, I will probably, Thunder Radio has somebody from Coffee County government on, connecting Coffee County daily, and I think my turn will be the very first week of February, so I'll be glad to make that announcement there. And of course,
Perfect.
we can contact Manchester Times and let them know that this committee has been established by resolution, and that the meeting dates and application process and all that is available at Coffee County website. So I feel like that should take care of it.
And that should get the matter started.
Yes.
All right. So, okay, Mayor Hunt's gonna get the proposal request out to the community. You've got your IT person that's gonna set it up for submission. I'm thinking timetable, this is gonna get underway probably during the first couple of weeks of February. Does that
Yes,
sound
I would
right?
think, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Am I missing anything so far? If I have somebody jump in and prod my brain into activity.
I would ask to add to the motion, you have a motion on the floor with a second, that your motion would approve the template that we have to work with right now.
Yes. I'd move amended motion.
You're good with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think that after we utilize this template, if we see that there's something that we want to change specifically for our group, that we just make a motion to change it.
Tweak it, yeah.
So the template was provided by the SMART group,
Yeah.
Yes.
Trevor.
I only
And we
brought
have
one
it.
copy with me. I cleaned it up and took out
Okay,
all the
good.
generic example language and inserted Coffee County where
Okay,
they had a
good.
place for it.
So, request for consideration for the fund application, we have a form that's been provided to us by Mayor Hunt, and he's kind of cleaned it up and conformed it to our county requirements. And I'd move that this form be published on the website.
Yeah.
So that parties can move forward with their application.
Yeah.
All right.
If you would, go ahead and take a vote on his motion in second.
All right,
if you would.
I'll vote on Mr. Nettles' motion to approve the template.
By aye.
Aye.
Aye. How does that need to read? Motion to proceed with template that was
The
modified for
application-
Coffee
yeah.
County?
Motion that template that has been provided will be published in Coffee County website for funds application.
The Coffee County official website will be the sole source for meeting dates and application template forms for the applicants.
Right, and as part of the information we put out meeting dates
Yes,
of this
we'll
committee.
take care of that with the local
Great.
media.
Great.
Okay.
All right, I think the next thing that, the next thing that we need to consider are the parameters of the funds that are gonna be administered. Right now, we've been approached by a few people requesting consideration for use of the fund. And as I have our district public defender here, Mr. John Nichols, and I'm sorry, ma'am, I've got Hazelwood or Hazelwood?
Hazelwood.
All right, I've got Miss Mary Hazelwood, and she's been working as a social worker with the public defender's office, and they approached me back in November when it looked like the funds were actually going to finally become available, and what John is looking for is he's looking for consideration that we apply some of the funds towards hiring of these or employment of these interns. To work up, so the largest, probably the largest legal entity that's gonna be processing these people, and it's gonna go hand in hand with our recovery court. It's gonna be a public defender's office. Just because of the sheer numbers of people that they have, that come through there, a lot of things that they end up representing clients for are gonna be, drug-based offenses, and a lot of those people are gonna be people that are, they're gonna be people that have drug problems that have led to criminal activities, and the theory is that the theory behind all of this is that if we roll back the drug addiction, or if we can turn somebody from an addict into an addict that's not an active addiction, that will keep them from coming back through our system. And I'll let John, if he wants to, I'm gonna let John, talk
If I
to-
may, right quick, I have provided the chairman with the public defender's initial request. That's not necessarily in the format that we're gonna use moving
Right.
forward, but it did get him in the loop.
Well, it
Now
gets
that the
us in the
committee
door.
has been
Sure.
populated and is official by resolution, now I feel like you can address and
Yeah.
let John,
Is it okay if we come to the?
present.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let
Absolutely,
me-
yeah.
Turn on your speakers.
I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. I'm very excited that Coffee County has,
You wanna grab your microphone, John,
Sure.
please? Thank you,
Thanks.
thank you.
I'm very excited that.
You have to
Coffee-
hold it down.
Oh, I have to hold it down.
There you go.
Very excited that Coffee County has this opportunity. I just wanted to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. Yeah, I know most of y'all, but my name is John Nichol. I'm the public defender for the 14th Judicial District, which we are very lucky that the 14th Judicial District is just Coffee County. It's hard to believe, but I've been in this job now for 10 years, coming up February. But what we're charged with is representing clients that are facing criminal prosecution in Coffee County and that are unable to afford counsel. And my office represents approximately, or gets appointed to about 3,000 cases per year. Of those 3,000 cases, some clients get charged multiple times, so we're probably representing between 2,000 to 2,500 actual clients per year. If you'll turn the page. So I wanted to say that in our office, we're not just concerned about what happened, we're concerned about why it happened. And that kind of why it happened has led to the creation of social workers being part of what we do. Because I have found out that attorneys were very good at handling cases. We're not very good at handling issues in people's lives. And our clients have a lot of issues, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, co-occurring disorders. And so I was very lucky that in January 2020, I was able to start an internship program with MTSU Social Work Department. And just by chance, my second intern was this lady who's sitting over here to my right, Mary Hazelwood. And I couldn't get rid of her because after the internship ended, she remained in my office and continued working because she was so passionate about the work. And based on that internship, we then were lucky to receive a grant position. And we got a master's level social worker that was able to work in my office for about a year and a half. Prior to her becoming pregnant, and she went on to another job. But that then again led to another opening of getting a full-time position, and that's when Mary came back to the office as a master's level after she got her master's in social work, and she's been there ever since. So the program has been growing quite a bit. If you kind of look at slide 4 there, you can see the referrals for clients to social workers in our office has grown a little bit each year. You can see that in 2023, it went down a little bit because I only had one social worker, and that was just Mary working there. But each year, it just keeps on growing a little bit more and a little bit more. If you turn the page to slide 5, you'll see treatment placement. So what we try to do for a lot of our clients, because substance use is definitely an issue, is try to get them connected with treatment placements. And so you can see that's kind of grown over time as well. And then, so last year we were actually able to, we had 119 referrals trying to get clients into treatment providers. And so after 5 years of doing this, trying to integrate social work into what we do, I feel like we've become a lot more efficient and effective in our efforts. However, a social worker, just like all of us, we live in a world of limited resources. There's only so much she can do by herself. And so, you know, in order to, I'm telling you, we're probably touching about a third of the clients that we could potentially help just because we don't have the resources to touch all of them that we need to. The next slide is just some of the providers. Slide 6 is some of the service providers that we have connected our clients to. I was looking at the list today, and we've actually worked with over 100 different providers in the 5 years, but these are some of the ones that we've sent the most people to. And feel free to, if you have any questions along the way, just ask. If you flip the page again to slide 7, this is kind of, we try to keep track of the success or the completion data for the clients that we treat. And as you can see, the green bar there, that represents the clients that have actually been sent off to treatment and completed it. That's gone up each year, which is a good thing. The yellow line are the clients that we've connected with treatment, but they did not complete. And you can see that has also increased each year.
Those are the people that started into those services, but they, for one reason, they
For
got
one
thrown out
reason or other, they did
walked
not
off or-
complete.
Yeah, and it could be, like they were medically discharged, they needed a higher level of care as well. So it's not just,
It's not just people that didn't finish the program,
Right,
but for their
right.
own reasons. Okay, okay.
And it could be that they didn't finish for their own reasons. But the important thing there is we have found out that, you know, ultimately, we would want everybody to complete, but sometimes the connection itself has a benefit, and it might not be an immediate benefit. It might be a year down the road or 2 years down the road. It's just that connection that gives the client some idea of, hey, there's help out there when I'm ready for it. The red bar graph, those are the clients that did not start. So that might have been efforts that we tried to get a client in and they just didn't start. So the good news there is we've gotten better at that, and you can see the clients that did not actually start has gone down, even though as everything else has gone up.
I have a question.
Yes.
Were any of these folks also in our recovery court system?
No, because our recovery court system has been down for a little bit of time. So all these clients were just completely
Okay.
worked out of my office.
Yeah, they've not taken a Coffee County client. Recovery Court had a couple of clients that were not from this jurisdiction.
Okay.
We just quit, and I'll explain to you later on why, but
I do know, I just wondered if maybe back over here in 2021, any of them were.
they were already tailing off
Okay.
by then.
So, you know, what can we do to help mitigate the opiate substance abuse problem in our community? I can tell you that opioid and substance use and abuse is prevalent in our clientele. You know, I would, just as Judge Carter said, a large percentage of our cases are drug-related cases, plus
But
what.
70%.
It might not be that much, but it is pretty high. And the clients that we, you know, when we meet with them, when we talk to them about what's going on in their life, you know, a large percentage of them also have some sort of substance use going on. So, you know, because of the number of clients that we come in contact with and the prevalence of their use, I feel like we could be a benefit to our community by connecting even more of our clients with treatment options. Because ultimately, if we can try to get the members of our community that are suffering from drug addiction into treatment, that helps everybody. So if you'll turn the page to slide 9, as far as your exhibit E, I think it was E5 or whatever, I mean, there's a lot of remedial efforts on there. I selected one that applies to what we would do, but I mean, there's several on that list that our program would fall under. Looking down under slide 10, this is something I wanted to get across is, our efforts are not alone. We're interdependent of other stakeholders in the criminal justice system. So, the district attorney's office, the judges, state and county probation, Coffee County Sheriff's Office, all of those players in this are extremely important because in order for us to be successful, we need the district attorneys and the assistant district attorneys to be committed to getting clients help, and they are. And that's why we were able to get so many into treatment last year. We need judges who are willing to support the effort, and we do here in Coffee County. We have judges signing the appropriate orders to fund the treatments. We need state and county probation officers that want to get their clients help, and we do. I want to give a shout out to Linda Baker and our county probation. She does a great job with our people. And then we need to have a sheriff's office that's committed to helping, and we do as well. Chad Parton and Tammy Warren, they've helped provide the transportation for a lot of our clients to get to their treatment locations. And it's the collective efforts of all these different agencies that allows this to happen. So I just wanted to make sure that it didn't look like we're operating in a vacuum, because we're not. We need all these other agencies to be part of this. And then if you flip the page, I just wanted to also say that, we're not doing anything that's, completely novel. There are other agencies that are providing treatment connections, and one of them is state and county probation. Our efforts in helping clients, I would say, with connecting treatment providers, I'm going to call them, they're a supplement or a complement to what probation is doing. And a lot of that has to do with the timing of when we get involved. I know Linda Baker and her staff gets clients connected with treatment programs all the time. And so we're supplementary and complementary to those efforts. And so if you turn the page, I just wanted to kind of explain the typical criminal prosecution timeline and how this all fits together. You can see on that kind of the left part of that diagram, you have the actual incident, the arrest that follows shortly thereafter. Usually there's a pretrial incarceration and then the initial appearance. Okay, so those four events happen pretty close in time to each other, usually within days or a week. Okay. And then that circle that I have there, that's kind of where the public defender gets involved. So at the initial appearance, the judge, if it's decided that the defendant cannot afford a counsel, my office will be appointed to them. We try to meet with our clients as soon as possible. A lot of times it's the morning that they get appointed at the initial appearance. We go to the jail, we meet with the clients, and we do an intake, and we find out about what issues are going on in their life. So when I'm looking at kind of the factors that I think have made our program successful, I think the timing of the intervention allows us for early identification of treatment needs because we're getting to them early. I think our attorney-client privilege helps because it helps establish that trust because, they know what they tell us, we're not going to tell the world, so they can be open and honest with us. And then,
Of course, that would include staff members.
yes, correct, and staff members. And then the timing of the intervention is typically good as well, because when we're meeting with them at the jail, they've been arrested, they're incarcerated, it's a good time for them to reflect on their life and the changes they want to make. So it seems to be a good opportunity for us. So kind of that green stripe line is when we're involved, and that is while the court proceedings are going on and before the disposition. When the case gets resolved, a lot of times that's when the client will go on probation, and that's when they'll go to state and county probation. And if the county probation believes that a client needs treatment, they'll provide that treatment and try to get them into a treatment program. But if for some reason the client doesn't do well, then the state probation or county probation really has no option other than to file a probation violation warrant. And then that's kind of that orange line that I have on there, and that brings them back to us again. And so as you can see, we're kind of, I think you all talked about touch points in your last meeting. We have several
Yeah.
touch points that we have with clients along the way, trying to get them into treatment. Kind of the specifics of my proposal is I'm wanting funding to hire 2 social workers, 1 master's level social worker, 1 bachelor's level social worker. And what I want to do is I want to focus their efforts on clients that have 3 characteristics, and that is that they have substance abuse issues, of course, that they're incarcerated in our local jail, and 3, that they're charged with misdemeanor or low-level felonies. And I'll try to explain that focus here in a minute. I'm not saying that that will be all the clients that they deal with, but that will be the focus. And so the goal will be to connect as many appropriate clients as possible with substance abuse in a timely, efficient manner. So expected outcomes, what I'm hoping with these extra social workers is I can do approximately 400 to 500 client assessments per year and get approximately 200 to 250 clients connected with appropriate treatments. And then if we can do that with, like I said, focusing on clients in the jail, hopefully we can get them promptly out of the jail and into a treatment facility. That would be the goal of what I'm trying to do. As far as the cost of this program, right now, I'm just requesting funding for 2025. So that would be, if I know you all are coming up on a deadline for the money that got paid in 2023. But if this program got approved, as soon as that got approved, I would start having social workers ready to go. I would say the other cost involved would be transportation costs, although I'm not making any specific request. I would say in the past, the sheriff's office, like I said, has been a great partner by providing transportation to clients that need to get to treatment facilities. But with this proposal, it's not just the 100 and some that we're trying. We're also trying to increase that to 250, which is a lot more transportation. So, if there was some funding for the sheriff's office to be reimbursed for doing that, I think that would be a great thing to do. As far as treatment costs, the actual treatment facilities where the clients go to, that's usually no cost to the county. There's grants out there, or there's insurance that the clients have, and
Most of those are self-funded, right?
Correct. So, this program or these funds that I would request would not have anything to do with the actual treatment costs. Let's see here. So, and just to give you a number of, I look from, if this program started in February and the funding ended in December, it would cost approximately $95,000 for salary and benefits for those 2 social workers. Turning the page to, I guess, slide 16, I wanted to give some final comments. If funding's approved, services can begin immediately. That's because, like I said, I got Mary Hazelwood here. She's a master's level social worker. She's a licensed master level social worker at this point. She's currently pursuing her doctorate. She's got 4 years of relevant work inside the office doing this exact type of work that we're proposing. I also have a social work team that's trained and ready. Megan Smith, who's working in my office right now, she's pursuing her master's in social work from the University of Tennessee of Knoxville. She's in my office right now on some temporary funding that I have, but that will run out in May. But she's ready to continue her efforts. And then Tricia Cornett, who just completed an internship in my office, she just graduated from MTSU with her bachelor's.
I met her last November, right?
You did,
Yeah.
you did. And she has now done a full 4 months in my office, been trained up on what we do, and will be ready to hit the ground running too if funding was approved.
And she is also starting her master's through UTK.
That's right. If you'd flip the page real quick to slide 17, I just want to just put some caveats out there. I want to make sure I'm not overselling things, so I want to make sure that I put out that we cannot guarantee any outcomes. We all know addiction is a difficult disease to manage, and we found that a client's completion of a treatment program does not necessarily ensure long-term success. Likewise, a client's non-completion of a program doesn't mean that they're always going to have a problem. We have found, though, that connection is important, whether it's an immediate benefit or a benefit into the future. So,
Am I right that the longer that you have accountability over them, the more likely it is that they're not gonna relapse, their recidivism rate kind of goes down after, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, the statistics show that, after about 2 years, the recidivism rate goes down quite a bit. And after 3 years, even more than that. Ultimately, I'm hoping, as we all do with every client, that it hits immediately and we can get them the help they need to get rid of the addiction. But realistically, sometimes it will take a second, a third, and more opportunities. Flipping the page one more time to, I'm sorry. I wanted to go over this final comments. The success of this program, at least partially, depends on the actions of other stakeholders in the criminal justice system. So, like I said, this is not the public defender's office doing everything. And the success of our program is not solely because of us. If it wasn't for the district attorney's office being part of it, if it wasn't for the judges, if it wasn't for county probation, if it wasn't for the sheriff's office, this could not be a success. So ultimately, what we're trying to do, and getting back to what I'm trying to focus on, is trying to find clients where everybody's kind of priorities align. So, the district attorneys want to help clients that are suffering from substance abuse. And so if you have a client that,
To a point.
to a point, that's what I'm saying. So Class A misdemeanors, low-level felonies, that range is something where, for the most part, there's a lot of agreement.
And that's what those are the people that all this is directed at.
Right.
Misdemeanor,
Correct.
right?
Correct. And low-level felonies. So I put in here that, I really feel like the success of this program is we have an adversarial system, but for these type of clients, it's changing the adversarial system into an agreeable system because, a lot of these pieces are aligned. So if we can come up with a system that we can identify people with substance abuse issues early, identify people that the district attorney's office believes are good candidates for treatment, that the judges believe are good candidates for treatment and will support it, that the sheriff's office is willing to, and county probation, then I think we can help a lot of people. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. And one more slide, and then I promise I'm done. I just want to say that this program that I'm talking about, it is not a be-all, end-all solution to the opioid substance abuse problem. However, I do think it's an important part. I salute your all's efforts. I hope you get a lot of people and organizations soliciting funds and proposing good programs because we need it for our community, and I'm excited about it. What I think is missing, and I just wanted to throw this out there, is we're really good at getting clients treatment. What we are suffering from a little bit is continuity of care, because a client may leave the jail, need medication, when they go off, or they may leave a treatment facility and may have several different types of appointments that need to be set up. So, it'd be great if there was some organization that could help provide that continuity of care for our clients that are coming out. we have very little transitional services in Coffee County. So,
Yeah.
so our clients that are successful, a lot of times will go to a treatment facility, and then their aftercare will be in a different county or a different community because we don't have any here. But for our clients that want to come back home and be around their families and everything else, it'd be great to have some sort of organization that could provide that transitional services. And like I said, we just don't have that. And then my final thing is this, our clients, there's a lot of barriers to their recovery just because of their indigency and everything else. So anything that could be helpful to provide housing, transportation, help out with the financial cost of this stuff would be, I think a great thing. And with that, I'm here for questions, or Mary's here for questions.
I have a couple.
Sure.
So the 95,000
Yes.
approximate, were you factoring into using those funds you had through May? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The actual, and I'll tell you what, I did a little proposed budget here for 2025, and then I also had 2026, which shows what would happen if it was a full year.
okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
And then the other question,
Your idea would be to cache those out and then to meet it out as payroll as needed, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question, Your Honor.
We set aside this money, you're gonna cache that money and you'll meet it out as payroll.
Correct.
Essentially is what you're doing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
the two proposed positions are housed in your office?
Correct.
Okay, and they'll be physically there, not
Correct.
work remotely?
Yes, they'll be
Okay.
part of my office, be part of the defense team.
5 days a week.
Got it.
Okay.
And like I said, I was only requesting funding, and I guess we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, because I'll be happy to fill out whatever application you all approve. But I know you all are coming up with a deadline for at least the 2023 funds. So I also proposed year 2. If those funds need to be spent or lost, I want you all to be able to use that on any organization that you can. But I just wanted to put that in there, that if the year 2, if you did want to fund year 2, that's what they would look like.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got a
good to be
question
first
real
in line.
quick. How does the 11-month master social worker double in the 12 months in 26? You got 36,000
Right.
for 25 and 72.
Because as I said, the master's level social worker that I have in my office right now on a temporary basis, that funding ends in May.
Got it.
Okay.
Got
And
it.
they-
I missed that.
and then there's also, I estimated, there's usually about a 2% cost of living adjustment that happens. And then there's one more thing that happens, and that is when the master's level social worker gets licensed, they also get a bump in pay. And so I would expect all those things to happen in year 2, and so that's why the pay bumps like that.
And is anything you're proposing duplicated in the county right now? Any redundancy in what you're actually?
Well, that's where I was saying, like, what we do is as far as connecting clients with services is really no different than what probation does. It's just the timing of the efforts. Probation, when the client's case gets resolved and they come out and they'll meet with their probation officer, the client is free, they're out there, they meet with the probation officer. If that's part of their sentence, the probation officer will help set up that treatment. Or if during the probationary time, the probation officer thinks that there's some sort of substance abuse issue, they will help the client get in the treatment. We're kind of getting them when they're in the jail and they've just got arrested, or a probation violation has been filed and they've been put back into jail. So that's where we're kind of making that touch point with them.
If nobody else, I got another question.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
As I pointed out, I wanted, this is not recurring money, and your proposal is just for 1 year, possibly 2. Is that gonna get you where you need to be in this program?
Well, I mean, no.
Where are you gonna get the
No.
money, where are you gonna get the money to
Right.
perpetuate your efforts?
Well, what I'd like to do is, what we're proposing here is not being done in any rural county, okay? So I really want this to be an example of what a program can do. We didn't have any social workers in public defense at all, except for in big cities until about 7 years ago when the first grant came. And based on what's happened in those grants, we now have social workers in about 22 out of the 32 districts. So, I think that this program can be a big success as far as connecting clients to treatment. I think this could be a shining example of what we can do in a rural community, connecting clients there.
You think this could be an attractor for more money? down the road?
Exactly. So, as far as my
Like
plan
Ben
is.
said early on, this is seed money.
That's right. I'm hoping to use this to show that this is a program that should be funded later on. And doesn't have to be at a county level, could be at a state level, could be through more grants. But that would be the idea.
All right.
The way I look at this is at the end of the year, when we start reevaluating the next group of applicants, we need to be looking at the statistics of who did what. And
Right.
if this program comes up, if the drug court program comes up, if whoever gets this money coming, and their statistics are showing, and they're asking for money, I think we need to give money where people are producing a result that's helping somebody.
Well, I think that Schedule E kind of mandates
I
that,
think
right?
it does too.
Tracking the
I
money,
think it does
right?
too. So even if we do it by the year, I think from what I understood, what Mr. Nickel was saying was if we was to be losing that money from 2023 to fund both years, but if not, we see statistics from 2020, well, next year I expect to see that same graph. I expect to see how many lives were touched.
Yep.
If we put 2 more in, did we reach the 400 to 500 people that made contact with? And I'm sure that'll be, we'll be able to see those things. And the other thing is how once drug court does come in, how does that affect? So there's a lot of things that will play into what your statistics will show. But the people that are touching the lives ought to be able to get the money. And regardless of whether it's a state run or if we get some folks to come in, just like what Mr. Nichols saying, I know we've seen an application of a group that were wanting to not only assist with families, but to transport to doctors' offices and courts and even help with some other things. If they do it, and they do what they say they're gonna do, and they show the statistics of how they spent their money, I think next year they ought to get the money, because they're doing what the rules tell us they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and let me say too, what the recovery courts, their clientele is going to be different than what I'm trying to touch
Yes.
here. The recovery
Yeah.
court's more of the upper or the more serious felonies, the clients that have had,
We've got a
longer
mandate in the recovery court that you have to have a sentence of at least 4 years, because it's a longer program. We stay on top of those people for, at least 2 years. So, it's gonna be a different set of people.
I'm hoping with the group that we're trying to touch here is that we do an intervention that will keep them from ever being a client again.
You're trying to keep people from coming up. to
That's
see
right.
me.
So if somehow we can touch them, get them the help they need, hopefully they never come back as a client. Can't guarantee it, but that's what we're hoping.
Is there one age group that you could identify? Is it mostly young people, or is there all ages?
All ages. I'll let
I
Mary
was gonna
talk.
say, I mean, we touch from 18 on, but I think that there's a range that we tend to see more of, and that's like late 20s to early 40s range kind of seems to be the ones that come back, because I think that's what we're targeting the most is the ones that are coming back and kind of misdemeanor charges and drug-related issues that could be avoided. So,
You mean repeatedly?
yeah.
They're repeat offenders, and maybe
Yeah.
they
People that
started
are
right
addicts,
out.
That's when they start catching
Right, and it's like
consequences.
PIs,
Yeah.
criminal trespass, they might be homeless, and using, or it's, it's disorderly conducts. I mean, minor things, not major things, but 9 out of 10 times they're using at the same time that they're catching these charges, so.
Okay.
Very good. I mean, we're gonna require you to go through the bid process, but I'm glad you came up here because it's gotten me thinking about a lot of overall administration issues that we need to iron out. And it's good to be first.
And if I have any more questions, once I think
Yeah.
about this, I can contact you with those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give
Okay.
you my card, Joe.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lee, you know where to find me.
Good job.
Does anybody have any more questions? If not, I do appreciate the time to present.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down
Very
here.
good presentation.
Very good.
Thanks.
So, this is what's got me thinking. I'm assuming that over the next couple of months, we're gonna get several solicitations for this money. I don't know how many we're gonna get, but we're gonna get. So, it's our job to prioritize.
Yes.
We've got a limited pot, and we're gonna have to we're gonna have to divvy out of the pot. So I'm wondering if we should should we put a cutoff? I don't wanna cut anybody off from a good opportunity, but then again, I wanna have a global assessment of who's asking for this, so we can give everybody a fair determination. What do you guys think about that?
I think we should have a deadline, if possible.
I mean, their deadline's imposed on us, so.
Right. I mean, when we post this, we need to post it with the deadlines.
What do you guys think?
30 days.
That's,
Like from the time you post it, 30 days, and then we'll meet again and we can start working on what we have.
that's my thought, because our
Yeah.
real work is gonna be in the prioritization.
Yes.
So, so I move that once we run the solicitation, that we establish a 30-day deadline, and we might ought to include some information that these will be considered within 30 days of the deadline. What do you guys think about that? So what's that's gonna do, is that gonna put us up, that's gonna put us up to the beginning of April, if this thing goes according to the timetable.
I think that's a good timeline.
Yep.
Well, you need to, people that are submitting those need to know how to continue their work, how to make their plan.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Well, if anybody watches this meeting online, they're gonna see what kind of presentation we need. That was very good. There was a
Yeah.
budget
Yep.
included.
Yep.
And John's been working on this for quite a while. He came to me back last year about it.
Well, this is very good.
But, so, and then we've got another proposed solicitation. This is gonna be from the Vickers, the Chaseway fentanyl, bunch. And so we know we got two. We know we're gonna have two that we're,
And then there's gonna be another one that I wanted to talk about.
okay, great.
So when we hired the recovery position, we made a job description and then an assistant job description in hopes that we could reinstate the Prevention Coalition
Right.
in our county.
And the assistant would have double duty. That's what
Yes,
you're getting
to
ready.
work with, right now, Alan has double duty, he's done the work, for the capacity building, but, my understanding with this funding is we're gonna have to show a certain amount of it is in prevention. not just in treatment.
Right.
And I think if we look at that plan we had previously and include it in all of this, we can cover that prevention part,
so as
because what we planned was for that coalition mainly to be educating our students in all three of our school districts in this county, as well as the parents.
Right.
And that would cover the prevention.
What's the name of the coalition?
We don't have a coalition now. We
Okay.
had Coffee County Anti-Drug Coalition, and it dissolved. So
Okay.
it would be rebranded, it would be something entirely different, because it would be funded differently.
And so what you're talking about is you're talking about it set aside for an assistant
Yes.
to Alan. And of course, Alan does a lot of that as well.
Right, and together, the assistant obviously does what Alan would need him to do, but have the coalition, the prevention work.
I mean, I can tell you right now, he's busy.
Yes, he's
And
very,
we
Who
haven't
is
even taken
Alan?
one client on yet.
Alan Burnett, Recovery Court Director.
And I'm expecting a solicitation for some of that money for some more salary for him and for an assistant. I expect to see that.
So, my question is, so the Coffee County Health Council really would like to see this prevention coalition happen, because that's part of our work. We've identified that as a
Right.
county health issue. Are they the ones that need to bring this, or because that's already partially in place with the job description, is that just something that we look at?
See,
I don't know how,
I know.
how
I'm
do we,
wondering
how
about
do we
that as
do
well.
that? If we're gonna give
I
some
c-
more
well, I can
money
tell
to
you that
Alan,
this-
does it need to come from us?
What does his budget run through?
Well, we would ask for, or a prevention coalition, a budget for the remainder of the year. And then you could project it for next year, and it would be a salary.
No,
With-
but what does it run through? Does it run through the county, or does it run through the?
Well, what
who
was
writes the-
discussed was
it'll
run through the
recovery
county.
court, and it'll be
Run through
subsidized by
recovery
this money.
Yes,
Yeah, I think all you would need to have is whoever controls the money would have to create a request or fill out the application. And with what you're saying, it fits the criteria. So, you know what I mean? So somebody has
So
to
it
be
would
the
be-
head to have to ask it.
it would be a county, he would be just like Alan, a county.
Well, I was gonna have him prepare it.
That's right,
So,
yeah.
I was talking to him about
Okay.
that on the way up here
Yeah.
before, and I have a little bit of it, obviously with the recovery court, I have some interest in seeing that come forward.
Absolutely.
So I don't wanna be an advocate for them and also be a member of the committee here. I'm gonna let them do it by themselves, but with the understanding, that would be something that I would be
okay, so,
predisposed to.
and
look
I ask
at.
Alan to
Yeah.
propose that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'll get him to give some hard numbers.
okay.
Okay, but so that.
And
so that-
because we had talked about like including some curriculum
Yeah.
for the schools and just some
training
support
program. He's
for,
done a lot of that so far himself.
he's done some,
It's just,
yes.
part of that's just been waiting. We've had some dead time trying to get our
Right.
clientele set up and get a
Okay.
manual. We finally got our manual approved.
And-
So there's a little bit of, some of that's being done now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to have somebody dedicated to that.
Absolutely.
And also the system that the state has required us to implement, it's a tracking system for all those drug court candidates. That way we'll know exactly where they are, exactly what services have been provided to them, where they are in the program. That system is gonna require a significant amount of data entry. Once that thing's up and running, it's gonna be very convenient, because you're gonna be able to show who's here, who's there, who's graduated, who's at this point, who's at that point. But you know how that is, to get that thing set up, it's gonna require an extensive amount of data entry, and that's gonna require a lot of time. And I would expect that's gonna be a task that these people are gonna have to be doing.
Okay, good.
But we're gonna have a finite pot of money, and we're gonna have to prioritize it. So I like, what Roseanne said, we need to establish some pretty close deadlines. Once we get the deadlines, then that's when our real evaluation task starts. So, let's see, so we put the feeler out through through media. Dennis is gonna handle that. We're gonna have the county website set up to receive, to put out the request for the proposals and to receive the proposals. We'll put a self-imposed deadline on that. And then about a month after that, we'll meet and we'll start prioritizing the grants, the money that comes out of the grant.
Yeah.
Is that a good protocol to set up?
I think so, but we should probably try to put a date.
Dates.
With that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like before we leave.
Yes. So,
The date we can post the
Well,
RF.
I guess it will depend on how soon the county that person could get the application prepared to go on the county website. And then, do you have any input on that? How long do you think that would take
To what?
to get the application ready
The
to?
template?
Yes.
It's ready, it's already in.
So it could be,
PDF
could we start
form,
running
ready
that on
to
February the 5th?
Do what now?
Could we start running that on the 5th of February?
Or before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I can have that done tomorrow. I've got meetings tomorrow.
Okay.
Wow, that's
Get all
pretty
of it
impressive.
tomorrow.
All right, so as far as the content of the solicitation, if we can get that on the website, say by the end of this, we've got 2 days left out of this week, but if that's up and running next week, a reasonable deadline, do you guys think would be the last day of February?
yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's tentatively say that the solicitation will include the admonition that in order to be considered for this grant, deadlines must be received by the committee by the 28th of February.
So if it begins in the next 5 days, let's just say it'll be on the website within the next 5 days, business days,
Right.
that gives a full month of February.
Right, little over.
Right.
So,
Actually, a little more.
and we could begin consideration of that money. I mean, they're gonna wanna give us, they're gonna wanna, I'm sure people are gonna wanna do like John did, come up here and give us their spiel. It's a real formative, technical, legal term there. What do you guys think about March the 5th?
To start reviewing.
Yep.
Yes.
So have a
That'll be a
meeting
meeting.
March 5th here?
What do you guys think?
For your next meeting,
Or should we have a meeting in February? Should we?
I have no opinion on it. I'm looking for some
You
advice.
need to address your protocol for evaluation unless you just say, we will use the templates provided by CTAS. That's all
That's
that's
all
all
we-
you gotta do is say, we're gonna use those templates and that we have them. But if the protocol for consideration is something different than that, you need to adopt it.
Like, we want a presentation, right?
Or-
It helps me to hear it
too.
and see a presentation.
So
Yeah,
when we
I would agree
post
with
that to
that.
the website, it's like you need to schedule a presentation before the full committee as well.
Yeah,
Is that what?
and then we'll provide a date.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't get to just fill out the template and we don't get a presentation. We all have questions.
They could, but it would certainly diminish your chance
Yeah,
of being
right.
successful.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
And actually, I can't be here on March the 5th. I have a work commitment. Our big conference, annual conference for coordinated school health is March 5th, 6th, and 7th. Could do it the next
Would say March
Wednesday,
the
the
12th.
12th. I could do that.
My wife's got a grandbaby due on the 13th.
Oh,
but the
no.
12th would be all right for me.
You're still talking March?
March.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dennis?
You guys set the date, I'm here every day.
Well, if it was posted by the 29th of January, a full 30 days or a full month would be a cutoff of the 26th. I mean, we could, I don't
We
know.
could,
We
I'd be okay for the 26th.
Yes,
Would that be a,
that would work.
I mean, I don't know the time is of the essence, but it sure helps me to keep the thing moving quickly.
yeah, it
Yep,
does. When
yep.
you start going into the more than 30 days.
So
it-
let's, I move that I move that the committee, we're not ready to adjourn, but I would move that we reassemble on the 26th to assess the, number one, to refine the protocol for assessment of the solicitations, and also to review the solicitation that have been submitted. Even though we'll give them another 2 days for the deadline, I mean, we can review what we've got
And schedule some presentations
and
for
schedule
that
some
meeting.
presentations.
Okay.
So our next meeting is gonna be February 26th at 5:30 in this room.
Right. And then do you guys wanna, do you wanna set a time now to receive presentations so that we can let the people know, number one, submit their information now, but know when they're gonna be coming up here?
Well, if we need to, I suppose on that date, depending on how many presentations
Yeah,
we
whatever we've
have,
got
we
on that
might
date,
need
start
to
looking
move
at
it
'em.
forward to like 4:30. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, besides John, there's already, there's another
Right.
folder for, requests that I'm not sure if the individuals are still pursuing that, but, I would, out of respect for their first inquiry, I will contact them.
Sure.
And then.
And all they really need to do is put this in the format.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, Linda Baker has actually made a request, so, that one is for her employees to attend a seminar. And, I took a little issue with the fact that she was wanting to take, her employees on county time, and I had reservations about that, and I think there's some issues
Yep.
regarding that, so, but anyway, Linda did make a request.
Okay, we're gonna meet on the 26th. Before then, are we gonna go ahead and give some time slots to that, and how are we gonna communicate to those people? Who's
Are you talking about for
respon-
presentation?
presentations?
They'll be at the 26th.
They'll
That's
just
my
be at the
understanding.
meeting like he was.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
And then whoever's here will present.
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
You guys
5:30.
are being paid by a resolution established what committee members are to receive. And part of these funds are gonna be used for administrative cost, which is to pay you guys for the meetings. So we wanna keep the meetings to a minimum, okay, the
Right.
number of them.
Yeah.
I think it's $75 per person, just like all other county committee members get paid. So, and I'm sure you're already on board, but there might be some information that, they need at budget office to get you checks out, or your electronic deposit is how they like to do it. So anyway, having said that, the template and the notice for the receiving of applications and the presentations will all be public knowledge
Right.
pretty quick,
Right.
pretty quick.
Well, let's just take and use John Nickel as a test subject here. We've heard the presentation. Now, he did an application, but he's gonna have to do our approved application. Now, once it's filled out and we've now adopted the process to vote on it, or not vote on it, but to, what's the word I'm looking for? Consider it. There needs to be a timeline set up for us to vote on whether or not he receives, because come the 26th and you got 5 there, we hear their presentations, we've gotta go right into the
That's
consideration
correct.
process and be able to vote. So how do we set up a time, or how do we vote on that to say, approve or deny.
Were we gonna try to do that in the March meeting?
Well, this was my idea. My idea was to have the scheduled meeting where we receive the presentations on the 26th of February, and then we would adjourn into a March meeting where you and I, because I don't want everybody sitting in here while we decide how to
Right.
prioritize. And then, we'll reset it to a March meeting, and that's when we'll actually consider the money.
Okay,
Consider the
except
grant.
there's 2 more days after that February meeting.
That's my thinking. That way everything's still fresh in our minds.
Oh, you mean
We could
for-
get more proposals between
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the February meeting and the
But
March
should
meeting.
we
We could
make
vote
our
on it.
cutoff be the 26th? That would give a full 30 days,
That way, we'll have everything we're gonna
no
consider.
surprises.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I,
And then we could have a meeting, say, on the 12th of March.
Now, I'm not gonna throw out our total dollars on camera here, but what John proposed does not eat up
Right.
what they,
right.
we can have multiple.
Oh, yes. And that's the
okay.
thing. It's gonna be a priority. It's a situation of prioritizing,
Yeah,
And there may,
which you're very familiar with.
well, I can foresee getting some proposals and not maybe fully fund all of them, but partially fund some of them.
We can't give you 90,000, but we can give you 45.
Right, that,
And that's
depending
where-
on how
that's
many
where
we
we're
get.
really, that's where this, our
Right.
brains are gonna have to
Yes,
meld together. Yeah. That's what I see here.
yeah.
And, you know, we may disappoint some people, we may make people happy, but that's not really we don't need to worry about that.
The other
Okay,
thing
so
we gotta
the-
We
think
need
of
to
is
identify the most efficient
this
use
is-
of the money.
This
And
is
to me, that,
2023 money.
right.
We're in 2024, the other money has already been approved. Once we do the 2023, we're immediately going to take they may not.
And
get
it'll
what
get
they want
easier
for
the second
23,
time
Get what
around.
they want for 24. We might look at it and say, we can't fund you for 23, but your application process is already in line
Yeah.
for 2024.
That's kinda how I
And
see
it
this.
may
Yes.
be- They may not get it in March and may get it in April, just because it's 2024 money.
Right.
But I'd say we gotta absolutely we gotta get the priority to get the 23 money spent, because we're gonna be on a.
Because the clock's
Yeah,
ticking
on a
as
click,
we're
so.
kinda
And
past
we need
that.
to show due diligence.
Okay, so
I think that's, as
deadline-
long as we're moving towards the disbursement, we're okay.
deadline for the applications is the 26th, as is our next meeting.
This is our next
Okay.
meeting,
All right.
at which time we will consider
be tracked in the
presentations.
minutes.
I will. Deadline for applications.
You said we was gonna meet again on the 12th.
Is there a time we should put for the 26th of deadline? Would it be,
Close of business.
okay,
Are we going to acknowledge somehow that those requests are received,
I
or
think
just,
the mayor's office should accept the application.
okay,
Yeah, they'll be able,
just-
I
I
mean,
think
they-
so too.
okay,
And then you can keep us posted rather on what's received weekly or maybe,
You know, it's just like this proposal here. I don't know what the protocol is, but if there's a handwritten proposal that comes in, I wouldn't care to have a copy of it. I'll read it before they get here.
Yeah.
it would be nice to have
Yeah,
them
I'll-
before
we'll
the
go
meeting.
faster.
Yeah, so then once they get here, you've already got a laundry list of questions that you could ask afterwards, because we've reviewed budgeting and.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's see, the solicitation deadline will be at close of business on the 26th. We will meet on the 26th to consider the proposals, and then we'll adjourn, and then we'll vote on the money on the 12th of March. Does that sound like a reasonable timeline?
Yes.
Yes,
and then after the 26th meeting, we will meet on March the 12th.
Yeah, and that'll be to actually consider the actual disbursement of the money.
I marked that at 5:30, does that?
Yeah, that might be a long meeting. I don't know, we may get 3 more proposals, we may get 10,
May get none.
may get
I
9.
mean, I don't believe
doubt
that,
it.
but
The next meeting's February 26th.
yes, sir, I have it right. I'll send the minutes over tomorrow.
I'm texting Martha. She was in Nashville and she just couldn't make it.
The most important meeting will be obviously, the 12th. I mean, the 26th will be important, but I mean,
So I
a lot of
guess,
this proposal's gonna be self-explanatory, you know, what they're gonna be used for and whatnot, but the, you know, the real importance, I think, that's where we're gonna earn our keep, so to speak.
well, I think that on that date, the 26th, let's say there's 10 presentations to be heard in here. We'll just, maybe, we'll have to work through it.
Yeah.
You may have to establish a time
Well,
limit,
that's what I was
just
thinking.
like our public comment.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
a little bit longer than 3 minutes, though.
well, be reasonable.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes would be,
I mean, John took about 10 minutes.
Reasonable.
I mean, we asked questions and you know, he had an extensive proposal too, you know.
Well, it made it very easy to understand what he presented to us, so I could follow along.
And as Lee commented to having the application before the meeting to you to review, not to deliberate among yourselves, but to individually gather your information and facts.
Right, we can't talk about this until the floor opens.
Yeah, yeah.
but we can already have our notes ready
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
Is it inside that application for them to also bring a budget proposal? Something other than the fact of just not only what they wanna do,
I'm
but
pretty sure,
how they wanna spend
Yeah,
their
it
money.
is. I'm pretty
It's
sure
real
it is.
brief, it's
Yeah.
not anything
I
like,
think it's easy, as long as there's something in there, so if they come in and say, I want X amount of dollars, and they won't spend, you know, if they've got $5,000 for taking people out to eat dinner, I mean, you know,
I printed all of that stuff that they sent on, the attachments,
Yes.
but I don't know which one it is.
I think Judge Carter's got it
Okay.
down there.
So you just have one copy of that?
total funding request,
I
but
only
yeah,
did
there you go.
one.
yeah. This
May
is-
I see it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
take
your-
a picture of it.
That'll be
This
your
is the
form right there.
application process.
And it's got your total funding, percentage of funds that are being used for which activity
Right.
and total, budget request. So all that's in there. We'll be able to refer to that and that'll tell us pretty much everything we need to know.
Yeah.
You know, cause we're all familiar enough with this stuff. I think we're all familiar enough with the programs that we have a pretty good idea where the money's, what it's gonna be used for. Unless we just get something really out of left field here.
So it's this one.
One of the checklists I have is application for funding, a completed budget and budget narrative, a work plan, current annual operating budget, and then state certification, licensure, accreditation if applicable.
Yeah.
And then letters of support from any project partners or collaborators. That's a checklist that's in another county's package.
Yeah, that's.
Let me ask you
all-
this.
Is it on
that-
there
It's
too?
all on the
Okay, all right.
template, yep.
Evidently
So
this
I think
county-
I'm gonna keep this.
Okay,
or-
I have one printed off, I just didn't bring it
Let me-
with
let
me.
me
Okay.
ask this
I bet I know what
question.
you're gonna ask.
If
Did he
you've got
send
a-
this?
If you've got a group
Did he
that
send
comes
one
up
already
and
with
requests
the Coffee County
monies,
on it?
No,
and they are, and we pay them monies, we pay them a grant, what obligation or what liability do we have towards their actions of not only how they use their money, but are they an entity of themselves, they're just receiving funding from the county?
Well, you know, a lot of these, I feel like we really need to differentiate between private
Yes.
individuals, 501Cs, and
Yes.
governmental entities.
Yes.
So,
And what you said was whether or not they're licensed and insured, because if all of a sudden you've got a group that comes up and says, hey, we're here, and we're gonna be driving them to the medical
I'm gonna run a
facility,
halfway
what's it-
house.
And,
Yeah,
and
something like,
let's just say they get in an accident. What's the liability that comes back if we're funding them,
To the county?
right, to the county? Because if it's a private entity,
let me think about that.
I don't understand, I wouldn't know the answer.
Yeah, they'd
I
have to
guess
be,
it,
they'd have to
I
be
guess it
selfish
depends
liability.
on how you fund. If it's to a 501c3, you cut the check. If it's like this proposal,
Right, this would go
that's
through
just
budget.
gonna go through the budget.
Right.
So this entity is a responsibility of the county, whatever
Right.
happens with them.
That's
And see,
correct.
they fall underneath the county state
Right.
insurance, so.
And, you know,
That's
the-
correct.
That could have happened.
At
That's
five oh one
correct.
C,
And then there's
they're gonna have
the-
charitable immunity anyway, so.
It's like the sheriff's department, if they are transporting for anything, they're already licensed
Yeah,
and insured
yeah.
to transport.
Yep.
Where like the public defender's office does not transport.
And they're covered by
because they're not.
certain legal defenses, you know, operating as a governmental entity. You know, if you operate as a governmental entity, you have certain defenses from that kind of stuff, any kind of built in.
Be curious on the private side, I'd like to know that answer before you start saying, hey, here's you some
Yeah,
money, and
yeah,
then
well, that- and
you
that's-
start transporting people, and then somebody gets in an accident.
And they don't even have car insurance.
We need to be mindful of that. Yes, yes. We don't want to set somebody up for some big lawsuit. But some of these may be already existing governmental entities, so this would be just
Yeah.
supernumerary super augmented funds,
Right.
like the drug court
Right.
stuff. I mean, that, you know, that's a division of the county,
That's
so
right.
Yep. Good question.
that's just beefed up part of their already,
Services.
Right.
It's an addition.
But is
it's-
that, are these questions gonna be answered not on the application?
Yeah.
Oh, they are on the
Yeah.
application? Okay,
Yeah, you have to identify what
okay,
is.
that
in the
application is pretty
classification.
specific.
Yes.
okay.
Well, good.
I'm glad I didn't have to draw it
Do you
up.
have another one of those with the county
This-
logo on top? Yep.
I can email everything.
Would you do that?
everybody one.
Would you?
Would you?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
email.
Yeah, but that's a, I would not have wanted to have to draw that up. Somebody higher than my pay grade has thought those questions up.
I just went through there and cleaned it up and took all of that generic
Yeah.
example stuff out and put Coffee County in appropriate places. And then saved it. And that'll be the very document that we will put on, the county website for download and print.
You know, it may not seem like it, but I feel like we got a lot done today.
I feel like we did too. Feels like we have a purpose.
Yeah.
And we're in line with what we're trying to accomplish.
And I appreciate
know,
working
there's
with
never gonna
everybody
be
that's
enough
got the
money
same
to-
focus.
It is gonna be a matter of priorities. We're never gonna have enough money to do everything we wanna do. You know that. I mean, anybody that's ever been involved in funding anything. But obviously, that's where our brain power comes in. Or lack thereof. Okay. I move to adjourn the meeting subject to the provisions of what we've discussed, which is solicitation for proposals, review of the proposals, and then we'll have our meeting on the 26th at 5:30 to consider the proposals, and then adjourn to the 12th to actually vote on the proposals. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion carries?
I would vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All those in favor, by
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Motion carries?
Yes.
We are adjourned, correct?
Different set of rules than I'm used to. Very good. We'll stand adjourned until the 26th of February.
So you said